This past summer, at the end of summer, when I went home to my family there, of course my home's here, but my home with my family near Philadelphia, go to Jersey Shore, CIL City, which actually Jason Kelsey, Jason Kelsey with the Eagles, he actually just got a place, CIL City. It's a nice family town, like 200 people go to daily mass there, and yeah, it's nice, CIL City. But in Seattle City, there's a lot of opportunities to eat. Philly cheesesteaks, water ice cream, pretzels, you name it, I had it several times a day. Even before that, I maybe wasn't at my best in terms of fitness there. And I recognized after that vacation, I was at the second highest weight level in my life. And no, I mentioned this at the other masses, and some people were saying, Father, you didn't look like you were like that. And I said, well, that's the benefits of big robes and wearing black. Black is slimming, so that's good. Okay, but I was. And so I thought, okay, I'm a little bit older now in my life, and when you get a little bit older, it's a little bit harder to get the pounds off, I've found. So I had to do something different. So what can I do differently? Desserts. Okay, desserts, that's my downfall at times. So I'm going to try to get about desserts for a time. So I did that. The first week is the hardest. No desserts. So no refined sugars or whatever that is. And then I said, let me do another week. So I did 2 weeks. Well, I've done 2 weeks. Let me do a month. It's almost like Lent, because I've sort of done that in Lent, but I cheated for St. Joseph and Immaculate Conception. But okay, now I did it for a month, no desserts. Then I figured, well, it's 1 month, let me try 2. In 2 months. Then my staff started to hear about it, and so they kept on asking me and pushing me to, why don't you get to 100 days. So we did 100 days, no desserts. Then it turned into 4 months, no desserts for 4 months. Okay, qualification. I don't count dark chocolate as dessert, all right? Dark chocolate, when it gets to 85% or above, 85% or above, it's like low in sugar, high in fat, whatever. Okay, so then my 4th month was Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving, I'm going to break my dessert fast there. And it has to be homemade, and it has to be something good there. So the family that I went to, which, by the way, they're not here. They're not here. Some people are concerned. But they're not here. They're in Seattle. Okay, so the people who made this cherry crumbler pie. I even took a picture of it. Okay, so I was waiting. I was waiting for this dessert, and I had it. I had the dessert. And people asked me, was it worth the wait? And my answer was, no. It was not. It was not worth the wait. I mean, it was still good. They made it well, but it's like you're waiting for it, and then you taste it, and it's like, okay, good, but it was a little bit of a downer, That could be us in our life at times, right? We get so focused on when this happens, I'm going to be happy. When my team, wins the World Series, the Cubs, the White Sox, I'm going to be happy. When the Bears win the Super Bowl, you just have to wait for that. That's going to come some time. All right, so whatever it is, the Eagles, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl 2018, that was fun. In fact, sir, what's your first name? James? Good to see you, James. James, can you stand up for a second there? So he has a Philadelphia Eagles shirt on. And on his jacket, the back of his jacket says Super Bowl champs. Okay, James, you can have a seat there. But I did not, he's not a plant. And so thank you, James. But when that happened, we won the Super Bowl. First time ever. Philadelphia Eagles. Great. But it was, okay, that's all that there is. Start talking about trading people, stuff like that. Even when our sports team, even when, whatever we're focusing on, finance, other stuff, there's still like a letdown at times. Because, as St. Augustine says, hearts are restless until they rest in God. There's nothing on this earth, even no one on this earth, that will totally satisfy our hearts. Even our spouse, even our kids, we love them, but we can't put all the weight of our expectations on them. There's only one person that will satisfy our heart. That's Jesus, and he's worth the wait. He's worth the wait. And so that's going to be our theme this Advent. Jesus is worth the wait. Christmas is worth the wait. But even Christmas itself, remember I've been saying the past few years, don't put all the weight of your expectations on a single day. We try to make a perfect Christmas, try to do all these things, and then we get mad because our family's not helping to make this a perfect Christmas, and arguments happen, things come up. Remember what happened 2,000 years ago. It wasn't a perfect Christmas for Joseph and Mary and Jesus. So what do we need to do to be prepared spiritually this Christmas? And not just a day, but a season. Don't just put on a day, but a season. And so the church gives us the season of Advent. Advent comes from the Latin adventus, which means coming. The coming of Jesus. It was the authority, the king, who would come to the people and say, I'd be ready for his coming. That's why I name it Advent. So what Advent traditions do you have as a family or yourself? It's always good for us to have at least one good spiritual Advent tradition. Lighting the Advent wreath. Maybe you have that, maybe you don't. So just do a makeshift one if you don't have that this week. Maybe it's especially the nativity scene. Try to have that somewhere in your house or multiple places in your house or outside your house too. Have a nativity scene. The nights that they focus on Keep Christ in Christmas, a good thing to remind us is about Christ. Or how about having the Jesse tree on the right there, learning about the expectation, as we heard from Isaiah, the people God waiting for the Messiah. Whatever it is. Sometimes we focus on a movie. You know, we have to watch this movie as a family or myself before Christmas happens. Some people have a tradition of watching a Hallmark movie. And, you know, so you may wonder, well, which Hallmark movie do I watch? Well, you have your choices. Do you know, in the United States, every 9 seconds, a Hallmark movie is made. All right. Okay, so I'm going off that now. I'm going off, I'm stopping. Okay, but here's a great tradition, is to read the scriptures. And especially the beginning of Luke. Try to do a little part each day with your family at the dinner table or get together at some point and read parts of it to prepare yourself for Christmas. By the way, I don't recommend putting a candle that close to your Bible, but whatever you do, read the scriptures. That was a great event last Thursday. Dr. Bergsma came here and talked about the Bible. Please go back to that on our live stream. You can, for the next 2 weeks, click on the live stream, the archives. You can see his presentation, beautiful presentation on the Bible. We hear from the gospel today from Mark. And by the way, this is year B. So we're in a 3-year cycle, every 3 years on the gospel. And so we just ended St. Matthew. This year, our liturgical year, begins with Advent. And we'll focus on Mark, the Gospel of Mark. And here we are reminded that he says, be watchful, be alert. He's saying to his disciples, Jesus, you don't know when the Lord of the house is coming. Be watchful. So how can we be ready for the Lord? What's come to my mind was, in terms of watchfulness, was a guard dog. You know, certain dogs are better than others in terms of guarding the family, guarding the house. So our soul, are we kind of sleepy like this guard dog? Or are we like this dog? We're called to be like this dog, always ready, right? They're waiting for their master to come back to the house. The master to come back to the house. Watch, therefore. You do not know when the Lord of the house is coming. That house is also in reference to the church. The Lord promised, and he keeps his promises, that he's going to come again in glory. His second coming. the second advent. He came again, he came already at Christmas 2,000 years ago, and we remember that, and that's good. But we are called to get ready for his second coming. Just imagine if, we don't know the day nor the hour, but imagine if he's coming this Christmas, in his second coming, the end of time. Just imagine that for a few moments. What came up in your mind and your heart? Does that bring a little anxiety or thinking that, uh-oh, I'm not ready? If it does, then what do we need to do to be ready when it comes again? Because in reality, when we think of Jesus coming again in glory, we should be thinking, yes, Lord, come. Set all things right. We need you. We want you to come now. I'm ready. We always have to be ready in our soul for Christ and not spiritually sleepy, but being always watchful. Who did the best job of being ready for Jesus? Who was always ready for Jesus? Mary. She is the one who shows us how to have hopeful expectation, believing that God will fulfill his promises. She was just in a room, we believe, and she didn't know that the archangel Gabriel was going to appear to her at that moment. But she was ready because she was praying. She was living a good life. We always have to be ready for whenever the Lord comes to us. Are we going to be ready like Mary? As we hear in the first reading, would that you might meet us doing right, doing right. Let's ask the Lord for the grace that we need to joyfully expect the coming of the Lord at the second coming, but even before that, it's coming to us in the Eucharist in a few moments. He comes to us in the Eucharist. Let's not be so distracted about other people or situations when we come up and receive the Eucharist, a throne on our hand or throne on our tongue for the Lord of Lords. Let him find our soul not asleep, but awake, a heart awake, like Mary, waiting for Jesus. And then if we're like that, this Advent season, this Christmas season will be worth the wait. Amen.